Hi, we're Richard and Jackie from Early Retirement Wanderlust.
And we're in the Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. So we're 5 days into our tour of the Rocky Mountains in an RV.
And for all the right reasons, we've been finding it really difficult to find time to speak to camera. So we've actually got 3 days of footage and 3 days of adventures that we've got to catch you up on. It's for all the right reasons as well.
Oh gosh, we've stumbled across the most amazing national park. We're in the Grand Teton National Park at the moment. We'd never heard of it before we started doing a bit of research. We thought it was just a stop off on the way up to the Yellowstone, but we have had the most amazing time.
So let's take you back over the last 3 days. So when we last spoke, we just had our second night in the RV and we stayed in a beautiful ex-logging town called Dubois.
And we stayed at a campsite called the Longhorn Ranch. And it was just so different to anything that we stayed at in the UK. It was probably the first time we'd come across the huge American RVs, which we were fascinated with. It was right alongside a river. It had the most beautiful scenery.
And it was an ex-cattle ranch, so it had all that sort of nostalgic feel there. So it had open fire pits and it had loads of communal areas where you could sit around the fires. Bit of a revelation for your mum on the old shower facilities.
Yes, unlike in the UK, it had a toilet block of 6 showers and each room had its own complete unit. It had the toilet, the shower and a sink for washing and things.
And it was so hot as well. And that leads us to the sort of the second thing really about camping at this time in the US is the changes of temperature.
Yeah, we've been really lucky so far. When we were planning the trip, we knew we might have a window of weather like this, but chances were it was actually going to just be a little bit wet, a little bit snowy and a bit rainy. So we've been so lucky so far.
But it's really, really cold in the morning and then give it a few hours and you're having to strip off down to shorts and t-shirts. So
Yeah.
we're getting everything.
We are literally wearing the opposites, aren't we? We're dressed for full winter gear in the mornings and then shorts and vest top walking yesterday afternoon.
So we left the Longhorn Ranch and we set off the drive north to the Grand Teton National Park. We had to go over quite an impressive mountain pass, but have a look and see how we got on. So the end of that day, we stayed at a campsite within the national park, the Headwater campsite, and it was pretty rustic, but had what you would think of as an authentic American wilderness feel.
Yeah, it was what they call a pull-through campsite, so we didn't have to worry about backing the van in there, which was pretty good. And it was in the forest. We had our own fire pit with it. We had a barbecue. We did light a fire pit that night, didn't we?
And the big awakening point was that the campsites around here are absolutely bear aware. So when you're checking in, you get a full briefing on what to do if the bears come onto the campsite, which they do regularly apparently. Right next to our van, we had a bear locker to put anything that smelt that we leave outside, and it was pretty hard to get into as a human. So the bears, yeah, they're pretty tenacious.
I actually had to laugh when we opened our bear locker. It had what do they call it? A contravening.
Yeah, contravening item.
Yeah, they had a notice. The people that had been on our campsite before us were given a warning, and they had a notice where they'd contravened the Bear Act.
And all they'd actually done was left a coffee pot out, which, you know, it's making us think. So the following day, on Iris's suggestion actually, we had a very, very early start, and we got up before dawn and drove down to the Oxbow Lake to try and catch sunrise, and what an experience that was.
Yes, I'd seen pictures on Instagram. It was one of the first places that I'd said that's where I want to go in the Tetons, and it really did not disappoint.
So have a look, see how we get on day 2.
today to. After we'd left Oxbow Bend from sunrise, we went to Jenny Lake and we caught a boat across to the other side, and it was lovely because Mum could join us on that, and we did a little bit of a hike. We found a hidden waterfall and it was quite stunning.
One of the lowlights of the day was we got to that time where we needed to empty the black tank, and we've got a little bit of footage to share that moment with you right now.
You ready?
Yeah.
So Richard keeps telling me this is my job. It's time to empty the black waste.
Yeah, it's the time that Jackie's sister has been looking forward to, and she said that this is the moment of YouTube infamy of doing the black tank, and it's the first time we've done it, so we're keeping it honest.
Got my gloves on though.
Yeah, so we've got to get the hose out.
Do I just pull it?
Yeah. And then
Oh, right.
that attaches underneath there.
Into this?
Yeah, that comes off. That's disgusting. And it's apparently just pull the black valve.
This one?
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
And then the other little valve. That's the grey one.
That's just so gross.
This is like quality YouTube content. I don't quite know what to say.
And we haven't even had a shower. This is all just washing up water.
So last night we stayed in Calder Bay campsite, which is where we are now, and it's within the national park, and again it's a really rustic campsite but has all of the facilities you could expect. The one thing that's blown me away is just the size of the RVs and the fifth wheelers that are on the site. I thought we had a big van, and it is just like a little tin can compared to what else we see.
It is actually a huge campsite, and there are literally hundreds of them as well. Our Cruise America motorhome that we think is really big just looks like a little baby. One of the highlights of this campsite, within 10 minutes of us parking up, 3 little mule deer came trekking through past our RV. They stopped, looked at us, let us take videos and photos of them, and then trotted off again. More excitingly, although Richard doesn't think it's exciting, we were warned when we first drove up to the campsite and booked in at reception that there is a mama black bear with her 2 cubs. The man that booked us in said, she's lovely, she'll not bother, you know, just stay away from her, don't get between her and her cubs, and then she won't bother with you. But what you must do is always walk around with bear spray, whether you're on the campsite or particularly she lives in the woods just behind us, and her home area is that peninsula. So we went for a walk yesterday. We didn't see Mama Bear, which I was a bit disappointed at, but we have definitely walked everywhere with our bear spray.
So today we are heading off to Yellowstone. We're pretty much all packed up, ready to go.
Yeah, I'm really excited because obviously Yellowstone was the big bucket list place that we all wanted to go. Mum's really looking forward to it. We've got lots of touristy things planned. We're going to go and see Old Faithful and the Grand Prism geyser that's got beautiful views.
So that's us for our catch up. Hopefully we are now up to date. We are going to make a concerted effort to keep up to date, and the next time we see you in the next video, we'll be in Yellowstone.
Bye.
See you later.